We're talking more keyword golden ratio. In this video, I'm going to tell you about a few success stories about people who basically had their lives changed by using the KGR, and I'm going to show you my personal spreadsheet. It's a template that I use for finding KGR terms. It makes it a little bit easier. So let's get into it. First coming at you is going to be Ellen, who is a former social worker, and she reached about $3,000 a month within 8 months. The site's about 8 months old. It's making between 2,000 and 3,000 most likely. It's on an upward trend, and you're getting over 1,000 people, sometimes up to 2,000 per day. So that's fast growth. And I'll point out, I have another video where I talk about the timeline of like starting a site and what can happen quickly. Now, the thing is, usually the first 6 months are a little bit slower. So were your 6 months, it felt like maybe you weren't moving? And tell me about it.
Yeah, so I was completely prepared for the first 6 months for nothing to happen. I had watched a lot of your videos. So I went into it like, I'm just going to do this. I'm not expecting great things. And so it was probably, I think I launched it in like July. And then around September, maybe late August, I actually heard about the KGR for the first time on one of your videos.
Okay.
And so it was so funny, actually. I was literally making dinner, chopping vegetables, and I had like my laptop up on the little kitchen sill listening to you, and really kind of tuning part of it out. And then you brought out like an Excel sheet. And that always like piques my interest when somebody does something that's like somehow data driven.
Right.
So I stopped like mid chop and I was like, what is this guy talking about? And you pulled up the all in title and you showed me. And so after that, like right after that, I finished dinner and I just went and started doing KGR research in my niche. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's tons of these. So I immediately kind of switched around that late August, early September mark and started just pouring the KGR content on. I was at that point doing only KGR, and that's all I do now is basically KGR optimized content. So that was probably early September, and I spent the next 6 weeks really pouring on the KGR content. And traffic started to pick up. I started to probably get a couple hundred a day. But the thing of it is that I really hadn't gone through and like fully monetized the site yet. Because I didn't want to have the issue with Amazon of like, getting kicked out. So it's just like, wow, these posts are actually getting traffic. Maybe I should go monetize. So I spent the next week just going through and monetizing all of my articles.
Sure.
And within the next week after that, I was earning. So September and October, my total earnings were $58.92. But for the month of November, I earned over $500. So
Nice.
I went from less than $60 in a combined 2 months to making almost $600 in 6 weeks, just on KGR content.
Amazing.
So it was after that, my husband and I, we were driving back from my parents' house in Indiana, and we live in New England, and whoa, this like legit works. And so we decided kind of to really pour into it at that point and see where it goes. So
up next, we have Wesley, who was able to get traffic to his site in only 30 days and actually made a sale within about 32 days. Okay. You emailed me because you started a new site, a new Amazon affiliate site, and you're using the keyword golden ratio. Can you just kind of tell me about the results that you're seeing and a little bit of a timeline? We'll dive in deeper later, but if you could tell us about like the success you're seeing so far.
Well, on the new site, it's actually been really crazy to see it, because on my first site, it's completely non-KGR for all the content. And this is the quickest I've actually seen a website get clicks, because it's only been 30 days, and it's already getting clicks and visits, but not a ton. One here, one every 3 days or something, but it's getting traffic, period, which is crazy to be that young.
Okay, cool. And so right now it's like March 19th. It's a Monday. It's March 19th, I think. So when did you first launch the site?
Launch as far as when I published my first piece of content?
Yeah,
Or just
sure.
the first piece of content was at the very end of, I think it was January 30th. I want to
January
say.
30th. Okay. Very good. And then did you buy the domain just like in January sometime?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not much before that.
Okay. So this is really cool because basically within 6 weeks you bought a domain, launched the site, and there's like some traffic there. Now, have you done any link building or is it just keyword golden ratio?
No link building at all. The content only have like 9 or 10 pieces of content even. No link building. So it's still, just very, very, very new.
After that, we have Jaron coming in, and he's a new father. So congrats, Jaron. And he was able to basically start from scratch, a brand new site. Within 4 months, was making about $300 per month, which is pretty amazing. Again, he was basically brand new to internet marketing. Can you just tell me the results on your site, kind of, hit the traffic and then the revenue?
I started my website at like the end of November after I found your channel and Income School's channel. Had no experience with blogging or with writing. Picked kind of a weird niche, I think, which I think has worked out well for me. We can talk about that more later. But so I'm just not even quite 4 months in total. And I took the latter half of December and the first half of January off completely. I didn't write a single post, and I'd only written about maybe 15 or 20 posts prior to that. But like maybe 30 days or so ago, the website, even only being a few months old, really started to take off. A few of my articles started ranking really well for terms with pretty low monthly search volume, but I was getting really good daily traffic, like 30, 40, 50 page views a day for really small keywords. But I was the featured snippet for a lot of those, and so I was getting a lot of traffic. So I think maybe like 30 days ago, it started to kind of take off, and I was getting like 100, 200 page views a day, and then it's just been quickly climbing. So the last week, just from organic traffic, I've been getting like 500 page views a day. Today, I think will be my best day. I think when I checked it right before we got on this call, it's about 420 right now, and I'm at like 460 page views. So today is a big day because I just had a keyword that just skyrocketed to number one for a fairly large term, and cool. For 720 monthly. So yeah, so today I'll probably do 600-ish. It's monetized with Amazon primarily. So far I've made just under $300 in total, most of that in the last couple weeks-ish. Okay. I've made about $60 from ClickBank. I've made about $20 from a share sale affiliate program. Then I made like $10 from like this company's own affiliate program because they don't have Amazon stuff. So and I'm not even quite 4 months in. So
can you tell me how the keyword golden ratio, the KGR, like plays a role in the site and the traffic at this point, and sort of just how it's been helpfpful?
Yeah, so it plays a huge role. In fact, I use it for picking most of my keywords, and I think in my niche there's just a lot of them because I've seen in some of the chat, some of your YouTube videos that people are like, oh, it's just I can never find I know the formula, but I can never find the keywords. And for me, it just seemed like almost silly to use the formula sometimes because I could just see almost immediately, just by searching the keyword that no one's actually putting the title, the all-in search title.
Yep.
So I just found a ton of those keywords, and I use the KGR whenever I'm doing keyword research.
After that, we have Duke coming in, who's a pastor. He reached nearly $1,000 a month. So what is your revenue at right now that we're looking at, just so people can quickly get a sense of why we're talking?
Well, I just came in under $1,000 in March.
So the keyword golden ratio played some role in what you were able to accomplish. Can you just describe maybe like when you heard of the keyword golden ratio and then how you implemented it personally?
I had stumbled across Human Proof Designs, Authority Hacker, and Niche Pursuits. And in there somewhere, either you did an article or they referenced you. And so then I found you on YouTube. And at that point, you were talking about keyword golden ratio. And so I started looking. And about 40% of the articles I have on the first site is keyword golden ratio articles.
Cool. And you did that without knowing, you just were very minutely focused in certain areas, right?
50-50.
Okay.
I went back and looked at some of them that I was already targeting, and they were keyword golden ratio compliant.
Cool.
But then I specifically went looking for more.
And last, we have John, a stay-at-home dad who reached $400 a month, and it was after he started implementing the keyword golden ratio. Can you tell us about like the revenue of your site currently, and then the traffic that you have right now as well?
My revenue is around 400, give or take, but it's about 400 to 415. It's grown over about, we'll say, 6 months. And actually, I noticed the growth when I applied the KGR method, and it's just been, I've been doing this for quite a while.
Okay.
And I've used different methods, didn't have any real results. And it just, after I started applying and writing articles using the method, it just started to get better. And I know over the next year, or this next 6 months, I know I'll do even better than I'm doing now.
Okay, cool. So how old's the site?
Actually, it's 4 years.
Okay.
I went back to November 2014 when I first initiated it, but for a variety of factors in my life, personal life, I've been continuing. I'm relentless. I just don't give up. And even though there were times where I just couldn't see myself doing this, and it was sort of depressing because
Sure.
I try to apply certain, other methods and from other people in the area of website development, and it just wasn't working.
It's just been in the last, say, 6 months or so, you applied the keyword golden ratio, or KGR, and then you started to earn. In fact, you've hit about $400. Cool. Here's the sheet for the keyword golden ratio. Now, the formula is pretty simple. You just divide the all entitled results by the local monthly searches. So it's nothing like super complicated, but this sheet will make it a little easier. And if you're not a spreadsheet person, well, this will make it a lot easier. Now, I tried to make it very clear here, like you need to make your own copy. So all you have to do is go to this sheet, which there's a link below, and you click on file and then make a copy. And then you have your own, and you can edit this baby, do whatever you want. All right. If you are looking at this version and you try and make changes, it will tell you that you can't do it because this is the master copy right here. Now, there's a couple things to point out. I do place some videos up here so you can get some information. You can sign up for the email list, that sort of thing. So that is here for your reference if you need it. Now, there are a couple of pre-filled in examples that I have here, but let's go through and just talk about the sheet. So first of all, we have the keyword column here. So you enter your keyword phrase. Now, you could go to a tool like Uber Suggest, or it's like Ask the Public or whatever, right? You can go to any keyword research tool, put in your initiating keyword, your starting seed keyword, and then get a bunch of different results, right? And then you could paste them in here if you want. There's actually some better ways to approach that. I'm going to do a demo on SEMrush, and Alex is going to show you something else, another keyword research tool that can help get you started. Now, the thing is, I wouldn't just get a massive list and throw them in here and check them all. There are some more sophisticated ways to find those. In fact, there are some formats that are more helpful to find buyers kind of keywords or informational kind of keywords. So that said, this column is where you place the keywords. This next column, column C, is where you enter in the all entitled results. So I'll show you where you find that in a moment. The search volume is something you get from a keyword research tool. You can utilize a tool like Keywords Everywhere. That's what we're going to use in this demo today. And it'll just show you the number of search results right there in the Google search results page. There are some more sophisticated ways to get like the keyword search volumes in mass, but for now, let's just look at one at a time. Column E is the actual keyword golden ratio. So there are a range that there are a range of KGRs that you may arrive at. The golden area is, of course, 0.25 or less, right? That's the magical area. All the way up to 1, there's varying degrees of difficulty, and over 1, it's going to be a little harder to rank. Now, there are many caveats with the KGR, and there are other videos in the playlist that you can take a look at that'll tell you about those. Like, what if the search volume is over 250? What do you do about that? What does that mean? So we talk about that in some other videos, but as we go further, column F here is something that's going to make it a little bit faster, not a huge amount faster, but I had this sort of in-house. I was using a spreadsheet like this for a little while. Then several people started developing their own spreadsheets to try and make things faster. If you're not good with formulas in Sheets or Excel, then again, this is very helpful. But basically, if you put your search term in column B, then you could just click on this dynamic hyperlink right here. So what we're going to do is take a look at what do I need to brew beer. I love beer. If you haven't seen my Instagram, it's basically a few pictures of my dog and then a bunch of pictures of beer, occasionally some other stuff, but it's mostly beer. I'm a home brewer and I enjoy drinking beer as well. Anyway, we're looking at beer today, beer topic. So what do I need to brew? Beer is the keyword. And I went ahead and searched for that over here in this other tab. And you can see here at the top, it says the search volume is 70. This information here under the search bar is coming from a tool called Keywords Everywhere. It is free. I will place a link in the description. I'm not affiliated with the company at all. It's a fine tool. If you want to look for a more sophisticated tool, there's a tool associated with it called Keyword CAG. That's the keyword research tool I use. Again, I'm not an affiliate. They don't even have an affiliate program. I just like the tool. The point is the search volume is 70 and we see that right there. All right. So I'm going to fill in the search volume of 70. I'll hit return. Now, the thing I need to find now is the all in title results. This is where the cool part of the spreadsheet comes in. And by the way, people that have sent in this sort of demonstration of dynamic hyperlinks with this format, I appreciate it. Thanks for doing that. There were a few people that have sent it in, and I sort of developed it on my own that I was using on my own anyway. So all you have to do is click the hyperlink and boom, we have all in title. What do I need to brew beer? And we see there are 18 results. So that is coming from here. 18 results is what we need. So we just type in 18 and we see the KGR is 0.257. So that is just outside the range. But you know what? It's so darn close. I would write a piece of content on that. Now, it's interesting to note that that specific term is an informational post. So I wouldn't expect anyone to make purchases directly from that. You could recommend some products, of course. And I would encourage you to recommend products if you were to write such a post. But that is not a classic buyer's keyword. It's just not the right format. Again, we have some videos on good formats for finding keywords that are buyer's keywords and stuff that typically works well. So be sure to check out the other videos in the playlist. Now, another thing I'll point out here is the search volume here is 0 for all in title. And why is that? Why would we, that seems like a bad thing if the search volume is 0. But here's the thing. Basically, no regular person uses this all in title search. Anyone using this is like a Google geek, or they're a weird SEO person like myself, or maybe even you. But basically, no one uses all in title. It's an advanced search string, and it's very rarely used. Now, so no one searches for it. On average, 0 people search for this term per month. All right. The other thing to note is there's no quotations around here. Like some people want to put quotes around it. Don't do that. Don't do that, because that is a stricter search. And if we actually search for it with quotes in there, it's going to be fewer results. And that is a bad thing. It gives us a false sense of the competition. So there are only 10 results here, and that is, like 45% less or something like that. So that is a huge difference. And as you look at, larger search volumes, that's going to make a big difference. So do not use, I will repeat, do not use quotes. You want to use just this normal no quote situation here. All right, so 18 is what we're looking for. And let's just look at one other example here. So complete home beer brewing kits. All right, so I already searched for that over here, and we see the search volume is 10. All right, so 10 as keywords everywhere tells us 10. So I'm going to type in 10. All right. Then the other thing we could do is click on the dynamic hyperlink that we have here, and we see the number of results is 14. All right, so we have 14 results there. So we type in 14, boom, it's 1.4 is the KGR. That is outside of the range, okay? Now, it doesn't mean it's a bad piece of content. It just means if you publish that piece of content, it's probably not going to rank unless you have some really super awesome content and maybe you have some good backlinks. But just in general, there's a lot of competition around it. So it's probably not something I'm going to write when I'm first launching a site. So that is sort of how you would use this sheet. Now, when you get in here, you'll probably want to delete, some of this stuff on the top here, or at least scrunch it up, right? So you could do a little trick here, highlight those and then right click, and then you could hide those rows, get them out of the way. All right. The other thing you can do, right, is go ahead and you could insert a couple rows, insert a couple more rows here, and then you could just, make sure you copy this formula up. And then you're good to go. So you're able to copy the formula. You'll notice up here in the formula bar here, the formula has been copied, and that's how it works. If you don't fill anything in, you will get this division by 0 error, but don't worry about it. Once you fill in the numbers, and you're good to go. So you can essentially just insert as many rows as you want into here and then do the check. Now, before we go on, I'm going to say you may be thinking, how can I automate this? This sounds very slow, Doug. This seems painful, and I really wish there was a tool to. Back in the day, there used to be a tool that did something really similar to this. It was called like I Love Page One. I think it was, for Windows machines. I use a Mac and I have for like a decade, so I never got into it. And in recent years, I've heard that the tool doesn't work very well. I've heard that it's free and that it doesn't work very well. So I've never even had an interest to look at it. So the question is, for many people, how can I automate this? Now, I don't have a strong interest in automating this. Part of the magic of the keyword golden ratio is it's manual. It is hard and it takes a few minutes. It turns out most people are lazy, and we use that to our advantage because we're not lazy. So we would spend the time to, find these keywords, find the good ones, put the time in doing the research, knowing that it's going to pay off in the future. But the point is, if it were automated, if it was a tool and everyone had that information, it's not as valuable. So I have low interest in, doing this in an automated fashion, period. Right. So that's my stance. The other part is there's a technical issue to get this done, right? So Google throttles this all in title search. So this search right here, if I were to do a few more all in title searches, a CAPTCHA would pop up and I would have to type in some blurry letters from an image, and Google would note that, hey, you're doing a lot of unusual internet searches from this IP address, and that's kind of weird. So we just want to make sure you're a real person and you're not a bot. So if you do a few of these searches, you'll see the same thing, right? Google makes the search slower, and then after you do a certain number of them in a certain amount of time, of which I'm not sure what it is, but once I see that CAPTCHA pop up, I take a break. So the point is, this takes a while, and automating it has a technical hurdle. Now, could you get around that technical hurdle? Sure. You could do something like hire a developer to use a bunch of proxy IP addresses so that you can make these calls across many different IP addresses from different geographies and then aggregate the data. And, it's a technical problem to solve. And if you're a developer, if you are, used to scripting things in an automated fashion like that, it's probably not a massive, complicated thing. Again, I don't have a strong interest in it, and I haven't had like a really big issue in finding these. So once you develop the skills in finding a few of them, then you're probably going to be able to find even more of them easier. So it's like any other skill. Once you spend some time using the tools, once you spend some time looking in Google and seeing what they are recommending as far as like related searches. Here's a little hack, right? You can come down here and look at the related searches. Keywords Everywhere shows you the search volume. If you start diving deep into these related searches, you'll often find really good keywords. And if you find a couple KGR terms, you'll probably find a series of KGR terms that are all kind of related, and that's a great thing. So if it seems slow at first, don't worry. It's slow for everyone at first. You will get better the more time you spend on it. It feels like you're not making much progress, but trust me, you are. Time on the tools really makes a difference. I'm going to send it over to Alex for the next video in this playlist. He's going to show you how to find KGR terms using Keywords Everywhere, a little more in depth than what I just showed you. Now, be sure to check out the rest of the videos in the playlist. We're covering a lot of stuff on the keyword golden ratio. So if you didn't start at the beginning, be sure you check out the link to the playlist and check out the rest of the videos. Don't forget, there is the link to the spreadsheet. So if you want to check it out on your own, be sure to look at the description and get all the goodies down there. So we'll catch you on the next one.